This graph shows the 2008 price spike in greater detail. Prices peaked at around $13 per thousand cubic feet in June of 2008 and then lost better than 80% of their value in the following 14 months, dropping to $2.42 per thousand cubic feet by August of 2009. Prices have rebounded somewhat since then, but have not approached the levels that they reached in 2008. The prices reached in 2008 proved to be unsustainably high. Demand fell as the economy declined. Meanwhile, supplies were increasing because of new sources of natural gas and increased pipeline capacity. Those factors led to the collapse of the speculative bubble in 2009 as market fundamentals drove prices downward. In the last 2 years, prices have stabilized at less than half the peak level reached in 2008. In recent years, new pipelines have been built connecting gas fields in Colorado, Wyoming, and the other states in the Rocky Mountain West to markets in the upper Midwest. This gas is now competing with Gulf Coast gas and putting downward pressure on prices overall. This map shows where new natural gas fields are being developed. There are major finds in Texas, Arkansas, the Northeast states, and parts of Appalachia. The long-term forecast is that these new sources of supply will lead to price stability for an extended period. Now let's look more closely at the upcoming winter heating season. Demand is stable, there is ample supply, and prices are trading within a relatively narrow range. This graph shows the last 12 months of spot prices at the Henry Hub. Prices today are comparable to the levels seen 8 years ago. That is good news for the 44% of Kentucky households that heat with natural gas. Looking at an average of the 5 largest local distribution companies in Kentucky, adjusted prices, the PGAs, are 2% lower on average than a year ago, and total November bills for someone using 10,000 cubic feet per month will be essentially the same as last year. The latest gas cost adjustments filed by the 5 major companies range from $1.31 lower to $1.06 higher than last year at this time. Total bills for a 10,000 cubic feet per month customer range from $13.06 lower to $10.59 higher. There is ample gas in storage. Price trends in Kentucky are in line with the national picture. As you can see from this chart, the current gas costs for Kentucky's 5 largest local distribution companies are within a narrow range. 4 of the 5 companies have costs that are the same or lower than a year ago. The only exception is the one company that had substantially below average costs last year. Overall, costs are down by about half from 3 years ago, and when adjusted for inflation, are lower than they were 9 years ago. A similar pattern holds when looking at the total bill for a customer using 10,000 cubic feet per month. The 5-company average is almost identical to last year because the average gas cost adjustment has changed so little and there have been no changes in base rates since last year. The average bill is about 1/3 lower than 3 years ago, even though base rates rose during that time. Prices vary among companies for a number of reasons. Base rates, both in terms of monthly charges and delivery costs, are different. Gas cost adjustments vary due to varying sources of supply and purchasing strategies. The timing of gas cost adjustments also varies, both in terms of when quarterly adjustments occur and, in the case of Duke Energy, how often. Duke adjusts prices monthly. Prices also may vary based on whether a company owns storage facilities or purchases off-system storage. Prices also may be affected by the number of pipelines serving a local distribution company, since that will affect the number of suppliers to which it has access. Natural gas prices appear to be stable for the medium term, with Henry Hub futures through April 2016 trading through a fairly narrow range. The 10% of Kentucky households that heat with propane will see prices somewhat higher than last year. Propane tends to track with the price of crude oil and gasoline, which are both higher than last year. Propane prices are also considerably higher than they were in 2003. Fuel oil, which is used by a very small proportion of Kentucky households, also will be more expensive than last year. The price of fuel oil, which is similar to diesel fuel, is almost 5 times higher than it was 8 years ago. Ultimately, winter heating costs are determined by winter weather. Wholesale prices will be driven by market conditions nationally, which will be driven by consumption, which is a function of the weather. At the individual level, bills will be determined by individual consumption. Here are some ways to reduce home heating costs and manage energy bills. The easiest way to reduce your heating bill is to simply turn down your thermostat. For example, lowering the temperature from 72 degrees to 68 can save as much as 15% on your energy bill. Using a programmable thermostat, if one is suitable for your heating system, can save even more. Simple steps to weatherize your home also can produce substantial savings. Low-cost solutions that keep cold air out and warm air in are an easy way to reduce energy consumption. Reducing heat loss through windows also can make a big difference, as can adding insulation, especially in attics and crawl spaces. Most utility companies in Kentucky offer home energy audits at little or no cost. These audits can identify ways to reduce energy use. Customers can contact their utility for more information. Another valuable tool is budget billing, which is offered by all electric and natural gas utilities. Budget billing, also known as an even payment plan, averages utility costs over a year into 12 roughly equal monthly payments. While a customer still pays the same total amount, seasonal fluctuations are removed, producing predictable bills and making it easier to budget for utility costs. If costs vary from the budgeted amount, an annual or rolling true-up accounts for the difference. Heating assistance is available for low-income Kentuckians through the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or LIHEAP. Federal money is received by the Cabinet for Health and Family Services and distributed through local community action agencies. Weatherization assistance is also available through community action agencies, with many utilities providing matching funds. The LIHEAP program runs in two phases. The subsidy phase provides a bill credit to all eligible applicants. The crisis phase assists customers who have received a disconnection notice. Most major utilities in Kentucky also have low-income assistance programs. Aid also may be available through local nonprofit agencies. Here are some resources that can provide information about energy use, efficiency and conservation programs, and heating assistance. These are some of the many sources of information available on the web. If you have questions about anything in this presentation, send your question to this email address, psc.info@ky.gov, and put Natural Gas Briefing in the subject line. If you wish to contact the PSC with a general question, here is the contact information.